G'day watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today, as you can see, I have the latest piece from Beaufort Watches. Now Beaufort, I've actually reviewed a couple of pieces from them already, a New Zealand startup with the goal of having vintage inspired military type pieces. They had a very good release called the Aero Timer, reviewed that quite a while ago. And then subsequently I had the Cavalli Diver, which was actually a pretty good original looking piece as well. And now they have this in hand. I think they've done a couple of other watches, but this is what they have currently released. So this is their packaging. On this surface, I think it's at least a 4 out of 5 on the spin rating there. Pretty good on this wood surface I have here. So let's take it out of the package and show you the watch, guys, in closer detail. So this is none other than the Beaufort Fiordland GMT. So clearly a GMT watch here with a GMT hand that you can see on the dial there. Now the going price, if you get this just on the rubber strap, it does come with a TPU rubber, that's the default, 589 USD. With this beads of rice, which is pretty good, right? Nice beads of rice bracelet that they have provided me, 668 USD, $79 more for the BOR bracelet here. Now it also does come in black dial, green, orange, and there is a limited edition red for the Red Bar New Zealand version as well. So check out the website and pics here if you're interested to look at the variations that they provide. Okay, so first up, as I usually do, guys, let's talk movement here. So in here is the 9075. Now, this is a movement I do not believe I have ever featured on the channel. The Miyota 9075 specs you can see down the left of screen here. The normal movement does have a date, but I can't feel that this watch has a ghost date, so maybe they actually modified it to not have a ghost date. It does have an independent adjusting hour hand, and I assume that is how you would advance the date. The central GMT moves every time you adjust the time, and I'll show you in a second there. Hacking and manual winding, of course. Rated accuracy, as you can see on screen. In use, this is excellently regulated. It's running about -1 second per day that I've had this running for about 2 weeks now. Okay, so before I move on, I'm just going to show you the GMT hand in operation here. Okay, so pull the crown out to the adjusting position. So you're going to hack the watch here. So this is to adjust. And as you can see, I've set it at GMT. You know, it's actually about 10 o'clock in Perth. And you can see that that's actually set to GMT. But if you didn't want that, you can actually, say, put a watch to the current time and then actually independently set the hour while the GMT just stays still until you adjust the time. So it's pretty cool. It's like the Omega that I have, I want to say, except that it's got a GMT here. All right, so that's how you set the time, and just going to start it running again here now. Case-wise, this is 39mm 316L steel. It is 13mm thick. They say 12.8, but I measure it as 13.0 with calipers, including the crystal on top there. 20mm lug width and a lug-to-lug distance, which is fairly nominal, fairly standard at 47mm between my thumbnails there. The overall weight with a few links removed on this beads of rice is 141 grams on my wrist, and that's substantial. Not too heavy, but definitely something substantial on the wrist there. Right, finishing. So we have radial brushing on this steel bezel here. You can see it's a GMT looking bezel. Long brushing on the top of the case as well as the sides, and then it's got that polished bevel, fairly fine, not too wide a bevel, but there is a polished bevel there on the top, and then circular brushing at the bottom there, including on that display case back that you can see there. So screw down display case back with a push-in sign crown. It's not a screw down crown. It's got a interesting Beaufort brand signature there. Right, it is 100 meters in terms of the water resistant rating that they've given this watch here. Right, so moving on to the dial now. So this is a very light grey dial. I honestly thought it was going to be slightly darker, but it is a fairly light grey dial, or you can say mid-grey. It does have a quartered sandpaper texture central section there, which is pretty cool. I really like the textures they fit on this dial here there. It's got 12 sectors on the periphery, so you can call this a sector dial here. Embossed details in the middle, GMT, Beaufort and whatnot. It's got a printed chapter ring in that slightly peripheral section there, and then it's a very textured kind of silver or steel section right at the periphery there. So additional embossed details, texture details on this dial here. The hands are matte finish, lance hands or alpha hands, I want to call these. For the main hands, it's got a rectangle pip on the seconds, and then it's got a simple triangle arrow for the GMT here. In terms of lume, it's got C1 superluminova on all 4 hands, as well as the 12 sector ring, and also a full lume on the bezel. So it's a pretty cool lume signature, and of course a lume shot right here for you guys to see how it looks like in the dark. Okay, moving on then. So above this dial is a sapphire crystal. It is, I guess you can call that a box dome. It's a slight box there, which is pretty cool. Fairly nicely done. Not the highest box that I've seen, but it is nicely featured. Actually, quite pleasant to see. It's got some anti-reflective treatment there. Moving on to the bracelet then. So this is, as I said, a beads of rice bracelet. It's longitudinally brushed, like fully brushed finish here. 11 piece, no less than 11 piece per link, and they're all separate pieces, so fairly well done here. Solid end links with quick release bars, as you can see there, so very easy to change out if you had quick change straps that you want to swap it into. It's got push pin adjustments, and as you can see here, it's got a push button butterfly release clasp there, right? Nothing too special there, but it does have some finishing here, so that's an extra touch there that is completely unnecessary, not needed, but it's nice that they've actually added some finish on this clasp here. So guys, that's the entire description here. Just going to snap it on for a rich shot for you guys now, and there we have it, guys. The Beaufort Fiordland GMT on my 17 centimeter wrist. Very fitting, I think. 39 millimeter case here, just 47 millimeter lug to lug width and only 13 millimeters high. So it really fits very well. Very, you can easily fit this under a shirt cuff and whatnot, no problems at all. And that's how it looks like on this bracelet. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's the description of this watch. Now, what have I enjoyed about this? Look, I think it really is another interesting and really quite original piece from Beaufort. They're really, working hard to distinguish themselves, and they are I reckon, one of the better micro brands out there that I've seen in the last couple of years. A very well put together GMT tool type piece, and very well regulated 9000 series movement, I have to say. A nicely done case, quite attractive sector dial. Now, sector dial is not to everyone's liking, but this one I think is pretty well done in a tool watch, right? Sometimes you see this in more dressy style watches, but this is a tool style watch, and very nice lume application. I've seen that lume glows very easily through the night, and it's really quite an interesting lume signature. The bracelet may be OEM, but it's pretty solidly done. I've got no major complaints about this. Yes, sometimes you just have to go OEM, but this is pretty good. It's one of the better ones that I've seen. And overall, I have to say, fairly comfortable to wear, even with a business shirt. And it serves pretty well as a nearly go anywhere watch, right? It's got 100 meters rating. This is fairly refined, so you can easily wear it with shirt and tie, I reckon. And of course, you can wear it in casual situations. Any weaknesses? Now, look, I think this is really nitpicking. Not much to pick on here. I think the dial and the hands could be larger, right? So, I guess I'll put some pics here. It could be the original, or you can make it larger and take up more of the dial, and maybe that would be more to some people's liking. It just seems a little bit small on the original size. That's just something that strikes me here. If you get rid of the silver peripheral texture section, maybe it would be more striking. The butterfly clasp, right? Not to everyone's liking. Of course, I know many of you don't like butterfly clasps, but this is what it is. You could go for a rubber strap or one of the other type of bracelets. This one does come with butterfly. And overall, look, this combination, without this bracelet, just going for rubber is $589. With the bracelet, over $650 USD. The conversation on the value proposition is going to be somewhat sharp here. So people will start expecting maybe Swiss movements. But I have to say, this is pretty good. It's original, it's quality, and you got to give them kudos for that. So let me know what you think. Is this worth it? Or do you demand that it has to be slightly cheaper to attract a buyer population here? So guys, that's my review of the Beaufort Fjordland. Thank you again for joining me. Let me know your thoughts below. Look forward to conversation. As always, thank you for joining me on this review. I will see you next time.